Hi, I've been working on a speech, and I would love for you guys to listen to it. Is that okay? Okay. The lynching record for a quarter of a century merits the thoughtful study of the American people. It presents three salient facts. One, lynching is color line murder. Two, crimes against women is an excuse and not the cause. Three, it is national crime and it requires national remedy. Proof that lynching follows the color line is to be found in the statistics which have been collected over the past 25 years. During the few years preceding this period, and while frontier law existed, the execution showed a majority of white victims. However, as law courts and authorized judiciary extended into the far west, lynch law rapidly abated and its white victims became few and far between. Just as the lynch law regime came to a close in the west, a new mob movement started in the south. This was wholly political, its purpose being to suppress the colored vote by intimidation and murder. Thousands of assassins banded together under the name of Ku Klux Klan, Midnight Raiders, Knights of the Golden Circle, etc., and spread a reign of terror by beating, shooting, and killing coloreds. In a few years, the purpose was accomplished and the black vote suppressed. But mob murder continued. From 1882 down to the present moment, 52 were lynched, and it was because of the colored line. Mob murder increased yearly until 1892, where more than 200 victims were lynched, and statistics show that 3,284 men, women, and children have been put to death in this quarter of a century. During the last 10 years, from 1899 to 1908, inclusive the number lynched was 959. No other nation, civilized or savage, burns its criminals. Only under the stars and stripes is the human holocaust possible. But why is mob murder permitted by a Christian nation? What is the cause of this awful slaughter? This is a question answered almost daily. Always the shameless falsehood that Negroes are lynched to protect womanhood. In Springfield, Illinois, a mob rioted for 2 days. The militia of the entire state was called. 2 men were lynched, hundreds of people removed from their homes, all because a white woman said that a Negro assaulted her. A mad mob went to the jail, tried to lynch the victim of the charge, and not being able to find him, proceeded to pillage and burn the entire town, lynching 2 innocent men. Later, after the police found that the woman's charge was false, she published a retraction, the indictment was dismissed, and the intended victim discharged. But the lynched victims were dead. Hundreds were homeless, and Illinois disgraced. Is there a remedy? Or will a nation admit that it cannot protect its protectors? Education is suggested as a preventive, but it is a grave crime to murder an ignorant man as it is a scholar. It is true few educated men are lynched, but the hue and cry once started stops at no bounds. Year after year, statistics are published, meetings are held, resolutions are adopted, and yet lynchings go on. Public sentiment does measurably decrease the sway of mob law, but the irresponsible, bloodthirsty criminals who swept through the streets of Springfield, beating an inoffensive, law-abiding citizen to death in one part of town, and in another part of town, torturing and shooting to death a man who for 3 years had made a reputation of integrity, sobriety, honesty, had raised a family, and had accumulated property, were not deterred from their heinous crimes by either education or agitation. The only certain remedy is to appeal to law. As a final word, in a multitude of counsel there is wisdom. Upon the grave question presented by the slaughter of innocent men, women, and children, there should be an honest, courageous conference of patriotic, law-abiding citizens, anxious to punish crime promptly, impartially, and by due process of law. Also to make life, liberty, and property secure against mob rule. Time was when lynching appeared to be sectional, but now it is national. A blight upon a nation, mocking our laws and disgracing our Christianity. Let us undertake the work of making the law of the land effective and supreme upon every foot of American soil, a shield to the innocent, and to the guilty punishment, swift and sure. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.